Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask any questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we're going to be here till 9 o'clock tonight. And today, we're going to talk about Errol Spence being charged with a DWI. We'll give you the latest. How about this? How about that Errol Spence is not the train wreck of the week? How about that? That title belongs to Max Kellerman this week, and we'll tell you why. But first, we get started with ESPN. Oleksandr Gvozdyk versus Artur Beterbiev for the WBC IBF light heavyweight unification. Artur Beterbiev knocks out Oleksandr Usyk in the 10th round to unify the light heavyweight championship. What a fight this was, man. Gvozdyk was doing a great job of using his movement, his boxing ability on Beterbiev, but Beterbiev did he was landing the harder shots, and you could see it from kind of the first round on. It looked like he was landing the harder shots. Gvozdyk was, he was landing, to me, it looked like he was just outboxing him. But you could see he was getting hurt through this whole thing. Beterbiev doesn't have that one-shot power, but he can definitely hurt you. He can wear you down, and not to mention the pressure he puts on you. He put a lot of pressure on Gvozdyk last night, man. Gvozdyk was leading on 2 of the 3 scorecards at the time of the stoppage. I had Beterbiev leading 88-83 at the time of the stoppage. I was maybe one of the few that had him ahead. I don't know. But I got an interesting. Okay, so Beeb, let me ask you, because we're talking about scoring here. Let me ask you a question. At the end, who did you give the first round to?
I gave it to Gvozdyk, but a lot of people, when I was doing the live cast, they gave it to Beterbiev.
I gave the first round to Gvozdyk also, but I only did that after it was deemed not a knockdown.
Yeah.
All right. So the interesting, this is the reason I bring this up, is I thought Gvozdyk had a better round. It just, that's what I thought. Yeah. Clearly you thought the same thing. But the crazy part is that all 3 judges had Beterbiev winning that round at 10-9.
That's wrong.
And I'm wondering if that late change had anything to do with that.
Probably did. Which
you know what I mean? And I wonder, that's the thing, man.
It shouldn't have, but it probably did.
Jason in the chat saying that my scorecard was worse than CJ Ross. So there you go. How did you have the fight scored at the time of the stoppage?
Me, I had it for Gvozdyk 86-85.
Wow.
I had it like the other 2 judges had it. I gave Gvozdyk the first 4 rounds. I gave Beterbiev the 5th. Then I thought Gvozdyk came back in the 6th. And then from the 7th up to the 9th, I gave it to Beterbiev. I thought Beterbiev took over in the second half of the fight. And
I thought he was definitely wearing him down.
You wore him down.
Those body shots, Jesus. And it was a right hand to the body. It was that right hand to the body that was really hurting him. That was really hurting Gvozdyk. But I thought that Gvozdyk was really boxing really well.
Fought a beautiful fight for the first half of the fight.
I thought those punches from Beterbiev, man. I thought that was what kind of swayed me, because he was getting hit. Every time Beterbiev hit him, it looked like he shook him. Yeah. It looked like he was in trouble. And him going down, I mean, those were clubbing shots and definitely no knockdowns there in that first round. I think there was another one in the mid-rounds or something like that where they called it off. Definitely no knockdowns. But he was being roughed up in there.
Yeah.
He was definitely being roughed up, man, for sure.
Beterbiev's definitely stronger than him, without question.
Yeah, I think so. I think that that was pretty evident last night. And I thought Teddy Atlas did a good job. I mean, they put together, man, look, they put together a good game plan to fight this guy. And he just, I mean, the problem was, man, it almost looked like Beterbiev took it out of him, almost broke him, you know?
He did break him. I
Yeah.
mean,
And it reminded somebody had drew the parallel, and I don't know who it was somebody on Twitter drew the parallel between Beterbiev and Khabib Nurmagomedov from the UFC,
yeah.
and what he does to guys.
Yeah.
How he takes them down and just completely immobilizes them and pounds them, and pounds them out of there.
Well,
There's nothing you can do.
this also had similarities to Meldrick Taylor Chavez in the fact that Taylor was outboxing Chavez, but Chavez was still landing a shot here and there, and that shot here and there was really taking it out of Taylor. You could see it in his face, how it swelled up, and you could see it that he's having a bad reaction to the body shots as well. He said after the fight he was pissed and blood for like 2 weeks, so...
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so some of these guys are just heavy-handed, and their punches are obviously going to have more effect than someone who's not as heavy-handed as them. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Now, give me your assessment of the fight now before we go into the Max Kellerman thing here.
Well, I thought Gvozdyk had a great start. I thought he was moving well. I thought his movement was giving Beterbiev problems. I thought he was sticking and moving. I thought the jab was outstanding. He would step in with the jab, go in there with land a quick 1-2, sometimes a 1-2-3, and he was going to the body as well. He would kind of sometimes he would feint the jab and throw a lead right, like a lead right hand, and then go right back to the body. And each time he landed a combination, he never stood in front of Beterbiev. So he was moving. But I thought Beterbiev in certain spots in the early parts of the fight would land a shot and kind of slow him down a little bit, but then he would continue to move. Okay? But in the 7th round, Beterbiev landed like a body shot, and that right then and there kind of sapped his energy from him. And each and every time he went to the body, you could see Gvozdyk start to slow down. And then, that those body shots started opening up that right hand to the head, which wasn't landing as effectively in the early rounds as it started to land in the later rounds, in the second half of the fight. So you couple that up with the body shots, and you add that right hand in there, and then Beterbiev started landing the hook as well, off of the right hand. And as you said, every punch that Beterbiev landed shook Gvozdyk, and Gvozdyk's punches, Beterbiev was eating them like candy.
Almost like he had no respect for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look like he did at all. I mean, he was walking right through him.
And they were landing flush.
Yeah.
And he was sitting down on him. They were landing flush.
Was it the 7th or 8th round where they said that Beterbiev got clipped and he got hurt? They said because his leg kind of went out to the side or something like that. Yeah,
his leg did buckle, but he recovered so fast.
I didn't think he was hurt at all. I thought he may have been more off balance, or
I thought he was buzzed. But I don't think he was like hurt like Gvozdyk was being hurt when he was getting hit.
No.
So if you're trying to if you make a comparative analysis to that, there's no comparison. But Beterbiev just imposed his will. He just has a very strong resolve. He has a good chin. I've criticized his defense, but he takes these shots well, and I don't know if there's another guy in the division that hits hard enough to stop this pressure and this forward momentum that he brings in the fight. I know that Kovalev has a pretty heavy hand, but he's a clubber too. He's not a one-punch guy. There's really no one-punch guys in this division. You could argue that he's the hardest puncher in the division, and he's probably the strongest guy in the division, and he may very well be the best conditioned fighter in the division as well. So a lot of people were high on Beterbiev, and I always thought he was a dangerous fighter, don't get me wrong, but I thought there were a lot of holes in his game. But those holes seem to be nullified last night because of how big, strong, and how much durability and how strong this guy's will is, and how he's able to continue to apply pressure and just continue to track the guy down. I mean, he was missing a lot of shots early on, and usually when you miss a lot of shots like that, you fatigue. He didn't fatigue. He got stronger as the fight went on. He never gave up on himself. He never got frustrated. And at points, I thought he may get frustrated. I mean, I thought he was being thoroughly outboxed in the first 6 rounds. And then he just made a decision that I'm going to take this fight into my own hands, and I'm just going to impose my will on this guy. I'm going to walk through him. I'm going to walk him down, and I'm just going to really sell out to the body. And I'm going to take this guy's legs away from him. I'm not going to allow this guy to move anymore. He wants to move. I'm taking that away from him. And he started really smashing that body. You could see when he hit him to the body. Yeah. It was the punch was not only hurting him, it was pushing him back. You know what I mean? Remember in Rocky when Clubber Lang grabbed him like with the hook and he threw him back in, like that. That's what these punches were doing to him.
Yeah, they were rough.
They were moving him. This guy is he's a problem.
You don't want to be on the business end of those. But you know what? And you look at Beterbiev, and you could see like his defensive flaws. I mean, you pointed out before the fight, the guy's definitely got a lot of defensive flaws. That being said, I mean, let's take a look at Wilder. He's got a bunch of defensive flaws. He's got a bunch of offensive flaws too. But hey, he finds a way to win. And the same with this guy. He just finds a way to win. And that's the thing, man. I mean, that's, he's a tough one. But, I wonder, what do you think of a match between, I don't think it's going to happen, but him and Kovalev?
I think he destroys Kovalev.
You think so? Because Kovalev can box. I mean, Kovalev's definitely a good boxer, but I don't know if he could stand up to that kind of pressure, man. Kovalev has trouble when he's bullied. Kovalev
would get destroyed against him, in my opinion.
I think Kovalev's going to get destroyed against Canelo. So, yeah, I guess it's kind of academic. Canelo's obviously he's not going to stay at 175. But what about Canelo and this guy?
No, never happened.
I don't think so either. But what happens in the fight? You think he beats Canelo?
Yeah.
It wasn't even a question, was it? You were just like, come on, Eric.
And when I say beats, I mean he beats him.
Well, there's another guy out there that they also mentioned. It looks like he's going to have another like a mandatory or something like that, and then he's looking to fight Dmitry Bivol. I think, I think he beats Bivol.
I'm going to be honest with you. He just beat, in my opinion, who I thought was the best light heavyweight in the division. So,
Gvozdyk's a good fighter, right?
And I would even make an argument, even after losing last night. Mm-hmm. He's probably the second best light heavyweight in the division, even after that. Yeah. I mean, I had him up. I had him winning the fight, and so did two of the other judges. And the other
two of the three had it, and the other one had it close.
And a lot of people had him up. So that was a very close competitive fight, really was. But we saw what happened in the second half, and it's hard to imagine him ever being able to stand up to that pressure.
Yeah. So, man, I tell you, he puts a lot of pressure on. He does remind you a lot of Chavez, the good one, senior. He reminds me a lot of Chavez with the pressure he puts on. He puts a lot of pressure on. Last night did the body work. I mean, what is he, 15 straight knockouts now?
Yeah, this guy's...
And he's not knocking out cupcakes. He's knocking out good fighters, man. Gvozdyk's a good fighter.
Forget it, man.
Yeah, Boxing Tech just said the new beast. Yeah, the new Triple G. There you go. You guys want a Triple G 2.0? There you go.
And this is a guy that, he's not afraid to go to the body. He's not afraid to take it to you. I mean, Gvozdyk's not a powder puff puncher either.
Oh, okay. All right. So scaling these back here, Andres Kiani says Canelo is too small. What are you guys seeing in Canelo? That he's going to beat Kovalev. I made no secret. I think Canelo knocks out Kovalev. I think Canelo stops Kovalev.
There's a reason why he's fighting Kovalev.
There's a reason.
And he's not fighting Bivol or Beterbiev.
There's a reason for it, my man. And again, man, pie bets all around, man. I will take any pie bet anybody wants to give. We've already got one with Georgie. He's going to take a pie after that fight.
I mean, a very, very, very green Anthony Yard almost stopped Kovalev in the 8th round. He was like seconds away from it. And that all started with one punch to the body. Imagine Canelo's body work, against Kovalev.
Yeah.
He's gonna fold him up.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't. That body work. Andre Ward laid kind of that blueprint of what the body work does in that first fight, in the second half of that first fight, and that entire second fight. Laid the foundation for that body work. Can't take it to the body.
Now,
he just can't. He can't.
Was this fight yesterday for the ring belt too, or was it just just unification?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It would have to be for the ring belt because Adonis Steven was a lineal champion. Now Gvozdyk, and then it has to go to.
So he beat the man who beat the man who beat the man. I think it was for the ring belt too.
Unless they took the. I think they might have stripped Adonis of the ring belt, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
It is what it is. He was lineal. Nobody beat him. Until Gvozdyk beat him. So.
But in my opinion, those were the two best light heavyweights in the world on Friday night fighting against each other. In my opinion.
And I tell you what, after seeing the, knowing how good Gvozdyk is, seeing him against Adonis Stevenson in their fight, and what trouble Adonis Stevenson gave him, and what a fight they put up. I think a lot of us sold Adonis Stevenson short because of the fights he was fighting at the time, the guys he was fighting, and the frequency he was fighting against ranked contenders.
Yeah.
So.
Beterbiev definitely separated himself on Friday night. From the rest of the pack.
Winning results, fitness, and nutrition. He says he can't call in tonight. Lucky for Eric. But Beterbiev looked good. Yeah, Beterbiev actually, he looked great, man. I thought he looked really good. Anthony Adela says, since when is Canelo a KO puncher? Because he KO'd Kirkland. Listen, that's not, that's not the point, though. The point is styles make fights. Styles make fights. And the fact that where does Canelo's number one priority? The body. Where is the glass on Sergey Kovalev? The body. He's got glass in his body, man. He's going to take him out. He's taking him out.
I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo knocked out Golovkin if he fought him again.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either, man. I would not either.
These guys are slow. Golovkin and Kovalev are slowing down.
Yeah. Exactly. And I don't know. I don't know where all this faith in Kovalev comes from. To be real honest with you, man.
Kovalev hasn't looked great in a long time.
He hasn't looked great in a long time. The best fight he's looked recently was that one, that rematch.
Aliter Alvarez.
That rematch.
Yeah.
Because he didn't look good in the first fight. He looked good in the second. But, yeah, man, he doesn't, he didn't look good in the yard fight. He didn't look good in the first Aliter Alvarez fight either. So, there you go. All right. So, it's time now, Beeb, for our train wreck of the week. And who better to sit there than Max Kellerman? So Max Kellerman said last night that Gvozdyk quit in his corner after the 9th round. If you recall the fight, he was actually KO'd in the 10th. But he said he quit in his corner in the 9th round. Way to reduce a great fight and a great fighter, And no, he didn't quit. If he quit, he wouldn't have come back out.
Exactly.
Teddy Atlas didn't push him back out there. Kellerman's a moron. He really is, man. I think he hangs out with Stephen A too much, the Stephen A Smith thing, and now he's trying to say things that'll get him attention, get him shock value. He also said, incidentally, in the post-fight, that Beterbiev was winning the story of the fight again. You don't win the story of the fight. There's no win or lose in the story. There's no story of the fight.
It's not a fucking movie.
Right. You've been watching too many Rocky movies, son.
It's not a fucking movie.
So does that mean Gvozdyk was losing the story of the fight if Beterbiev was winning it? He says stupid things, and it just doubles down on him. When did the whole story of the fight? Was that the Pacquiao fight or whatever when this came out?
I don't know.
I don't know. When he said something stupid and everybody called him on it,
Who would you rather be? The story of the fight. All these
Right,
irrelevant things that judges don't have to fucking worry about when they're putting 10 or 9 on the fucking scoring column.
And then he just doubles down on his moronic sayings, and it's like, dude, just it's done. You said something dumb, and that's okay. We all cop to it, but he just doubles down and keeps saying it, And by the way, that's a great thing to say. After we just had a boxer pass away of ring injuries this week.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's call them quitters. Let's call them cowards. And when we're trying to get their corners to be more responsible for the fighters and that kind of thing, yeah, let's go ahead but let's call them quitters. Let's call them cowards. Let's say he quit on a stool when he didn't. Let's go there. By the way, and Beeb sent me this article today, and it was in ESPN. Gvozdyk just got out of the hospital. He was in there for 2 days. So
suffered a concussion.
Yeah. From hits to the back of the head or whatever. I think they said was trauma to the back of the head or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, that's boxing. It is what it is. But, luckily there was no brain bleed or anything like that or any kind of injury on the brain. Just a concussion, which, when we say that real lightly, just a concussion. That's not just a concussion. How many of you guys have had a concussion? That's nothing to take lightly. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever had one.
What is wrong with this guy? So he spends a couple days in the hospital. He spends that night and the next day in the hospital or whatever. He goes and it says, the guy quit on a stool. What are you, stupid? You get out there, and I think you had the best. What did you say on Twitter when you heard this? Because you had a really good comment for it.
I said, because Mike Montero tweeted out that this is wrong. This type of rhetoric is what we don't need in the sport of boxing. And I said I couldn't agree more. And it's so easy for Max to say that, so conveniently sitting in a spectator's seat.
That's it. Yeah, it's real brave for Kellerman to sit there and call other people cowards and everything like that. He's a brave guy, man. Real brave guy. You know.
And here's the thing. We just talked about the Patrick Day situation. And every time that happens, what do? We sit there and say, why did it happen? Why didn't the corner stop it? Why didn't the referee stop it? Why didn't the commission do something about it? Okay? And then I hear other comments like, well, these guys know the risks that they're taking when they get in the ring. Okay, but why not try to minimize those risks? Okay, the commissions try to minimize them. The sanctioning bodies have tried to minimize them. Boxing has tried to continuously get safer as time goes on. They're trying to learn from their past, hardships. So why when a fighter, his body fails him in the ring, he loses control and no longer can intelligently defend himself, has no control over his faculties anymore, or if he's getting smashed to the body, and is getting hit in the solar plexus, getting hit in the liver. All of the oxygen is being taken out of his lungs, and he can no longer function effectively. Why do you want him to go out and go out on his shield? There's no moral victories in the sport of boxing.
No.
Just to say you finished the fight, but okay, you finished the fight, but did you finish the fight the same way you went into it? How much of yourself did you leave in the ring? How much of yourself did you lose that you'll never get back? Okay? How many years did you take off your life? So it's okay we want the ref to stop it. We want the corner to stop it. And then we make statements like, this guy's too brave for his own good. He's not going to quit. Okay? So
can't have it both ways.
Exactly. The hypocrisy is real. Okay? And then we hear, well, some guys have been through this and they've come back to win. But did they really win? Did they really win? And how many people do come back, and how many people would have made it out of that 10th round after suffering the beating that Gvozdyk took in that 10th round? The guy fought his ass off. He fought his ass off. And as you said, if he wanted to quit, he had every opportunity to do so after that 9th round. He could have stayed on his stool.
Yeah.
And he could have stayed down after the first knockdown. But he got up 3 fucking times. And then the referee waved it off.
Right.
So this whole quit thing, And again, what is this thing about being macho? This whole we have to prove how tough we are. I thought this was a sport. Why not just take the fucking gloves off? Why not take the time limit off the rounds? Let's go back to the days before the Marcus and Queensberry rules. Let's make it a savage sport like it was before. And let's just have them fight to the death. Is that what you people want? Is that what the fans want? You know, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to change the subject a little bit, and I'm going to tie it all in. Yeah. So in the military, right, we would get punished. If we did something wrong or one of us did something wrong, the whole platoon would get punished. Right. And they'd make us lean up against the wall in a sitting position, and we'd have to hold our M16s out like this. And we couldn't move. We just had to sit there. How long do you think we lasted? Some of us lasted maybe 5 minutes. Some of us lasted maybe 6, 7, 8 minutes. But we all fell to the ground afterwards. Now, were we all quitters? Or did the lactic acid in our muscles just build up and our bodies just failed us at that moment? We're fucking human beings with nervous systems, okay? We have oxygen. So just because some of us shut off a little bit later than others, all of us get to a point where our body just shuts down on us. You get hit in the head enough times, and you can't, and you lose, hold of your faculties. You lose the ability to function properly in the ring and intelligently defend yourself. Then you're a sitting duck. Oh, well, look at the body language. Look how he took it. He was breaking them down. He looked discouraged. Let me ask you a question. If you're getting the shit beat out of you, you're going to have a smile on your face. Hey, I'm getting the fucking shit kicked out of me. This is great. Of course he's not going to look happy. Of course he's going to look fucking discouraged.
Right.
Because he's hurt. He's in a state of duress. What's he supposed to do? Yay, I'm getting my ass kicked. That's not what you do when you're getting hurt. But he fought his ass off. He gave every ounce of ability, intestinal fortitude that he had inside him. He should be commended for that. So instead of saying how great this fight was and how entertaining this fight was and what a performance both men put on, it's being overshadowed by one guy quit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
and how many of those guys criticizing him could have made it to that 9th round? Could have made it to that level? Could have made it, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you right now, I don't think any fighter would have made it out of that 10th round. And right after he got knocked down in the first time, and I saw how hurt he was, when I was doing the live cast, I said, I'll be very surprised if he makes that out of this round. Because I could see how hurt he was. So just to get up and continue to go on, and I don't think he could have. I mean, he would have kept getting knocked down. So the ref waved it off. So what was the ref supposed to do? Let him keep getting up and keep getting knocked down? I mean,
it was 3 knockdowns.
He already suffered a concussion. What was next?
Yeah.
What was next? If that fight continued, there's no doubt in my mind he would have had a brain bleed, because he couldn't defend him. He couldn't defend himself anymore. You already had a concussion. So all you fucking heroes that love to say, "Oh, this guy quit, that guy quit." It's not like he got punched one time and said, "It's over." He went 10 fucking hard rounds with this guy, and he was winning.
He was winning the fight.
He was winning, and he was winning.
Right.
But yet, all we can take away from this is, he's a quitter.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. He's a quitter. He was winning the fight. He stayed in there, but he quit on a stool in the 9th round. You got to be kidding me.
I'm just so fucking sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it.
Yeah. And on the same thing we had, like I said, I mean, the Patrick Day situation we'll talk about later, and that's what you're going to come up with? He quit? You're going to call the guy a quitter?
Yeah.
Are you stupid? If you think he quit, great. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it. Nobody else needs to hear it.
And again,
Whatever.
everybody has a right to their own opinion. We say this
Sure.
time and time again, and I'm gonna keep saying it again. I sound like a broken record, but I have a right to criticize your opinion, and you have a right to criticize my opinion.
Right.
But guess what? Guess what? Don't be a fucking hypocrite. Don't say 1 week, oh, someone should have stopped this. Oh, someone should have stepped in. The ref should have did this. The corner should have did that. But then when the fighter can't continue anymore, then he quit. He has no heart.
Right.
He's not macho enough for us. He's not a gangster. He's not cool enough, tough enough for us.
Right.
Because he has to fucking fight when he can't intelligently defend himself.
Yeah.
We want to see him get carried out of there in a stretcher just so he could say, "Oh, I'll die in the ring."
Right.
I don't want anyone to die in the ring.
I don't want anybody going to the hospital after the fight. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a brutal sport. I understand it's a brutal sport. Oh, okay. But again, we still people that run the sport of boxing still have the responsibility to make it as safe as they possibly can, regardless of how brutal it is. Okay? They know the risk they're taking. Okay, it's up to the commission. It's up to the sanctioning bodies. It's up to everyone involved in the sport of boxing to minimize that risk. And by not stopping a fight when it's supposed to be stopped, you are not minimizing that risk. Yep. You are making it worse. You're exacerbating and you're maximizing that risk, which is something that last week we all said was wrong.
Right.
But now, a week later, oh, this guy's not brave enough. This guy's not tough enough. He has no
rhetoric.
He has no heart. Again, how could he have continued? Beterbiev was hurting him to the point where his body no longer could function so he could intelligently defend himself. He didn't get punched in the face, like I said, one time and said, okay, I quit. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I said, I mean, the rhetoric, that kind of rhetoric needs to get toned down. They can't, and especially, from a guy like that, from a guy like Kellerman who's got a national platform and everything like that, to say stuff like that about these guys is ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. Dwayne M. has an interesting question. He says, ringside reporter, he says, given the recent events with Patrick Day, how do you guys feel about moving to same-day weigh-ins? And again, we'll talk about the Patrick Day situation later.
I've always been a proponent of same-day weigh-ins. Always. I hate these day before weigh-ins. I hate them.
I like what the IBF is doing because with the same-day the reason I think and correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason they moved away from the same-day weigh-ins is because they say that they've dehydrated themselves in the fluid on the brain, something about the fluid in the brain that keeps it...
Cerebral spinal fluid is in the brain. And
it dehydrates that. Yeah. And so you're more apt to be injured that way. I like what the IBF is doing, they do with their title fights where you can't gain more than X amount of weight before the next day. You know what I mean?
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yes.
And just explain to you why that's not enough?
Sure.
Because what's happening is now these guys have this false sense of security that they could starve themselves for 8 weeks. And all of a sudden, 36 hours before the fight, they can gorge themselves and think they're going to get all of those nutrients back, all those electrolytes back that they lost. When you dehydrate yourself and you strip yourself down of all of the nutrients in your body, it takes you a good 72 hours, sometimes almost five days to a week to actually get your system back to where it was before you put it under such duress. So this whole notion that, okay, we're going to give them 36 hours to rehydrate and it's going to be okay. It takes more than 36 hours to rehydrate and bring your body back to homeostasis.
Yeah. So
it's not enough time, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I've talked to doctors and I've talked to sports medicine people, and 36 hours isn't enough time. Why do you think Why do you think they have IVs and shit going into their veins?
Right.
Why did Oscar De La Hoya have an IV in his fucking? Why did Floyd Mayweather have an IV?
Yep.
Because you have to fucking shuttle those nutrients back in there. You can't get them. You have to shuttle it directly into the bloodstream because it takes more than 36 hours for your body to assimilate all those nutrients and get all those electrolytes back and get that cerebral spinal fluid fully back.
Right.
You may get some of it back, but you're not going to get all back. So these guys that are fighting at 147, walking around at 170, if they were same day weigh-ins, these guys would be middleweights.
For sure. And
so this would force everyone to fight in the weight class they're supposed to fucking fight in. There would be no more weight bullying. This day before weigh-in caused more problems than it actually solved, in my opinion.
yeah, Joe Lopez says, if you're killing yourself to make weight, maybe you should do yourself a favor and fight at the correct weight. Now, there's something to be said for that, but the reason that they don't are because if they did fight at their correct weight, you know, you've got guys that are fighting, let's say at 160. You got guys coming down from like 180, 190, coming down to 160 and fighting. And it's, you know, you're fighting a truly bigger guy.
I got another story for you. Dana Rosenplant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I don't know if you know him. He's the guy that got knocked out by Beeb Passanjay in the fourth.
Yeah, I
round.
remember him.
He fought at 160. He used to walk around at 180, sometimes 185.
That's insane.
He would train in a rubber suit, and he would do 2 hours on the treadmill. 2 hours. Then he would go and spar. Okay? This guy was fucking had a sodium deficiency. He's taking sodium tablets, okay? Just to get down, and he was depleting his body so bad, he had to take sodium tablets, okay? He's losing 20 pounds, 25 pounds in 8 weeks. Now, a healthy weight loss is 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
Do the math. 20 pounds in 8 weeks. It's a lot of fucking weight. It's a lot of weight.
That's insane. You know.
But
who does this go on? All right, but who does this go on, though? It goes on the handlers, goes on the trainers, goes on the fighters themselves. I think all of them play a part, no?
Well, if you make it same-day weigh-ins, then guess what? These guys would all be moving up in weight. They wouldn't be pulling this shit.
They couldn't. They
wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be doing it. It's worse. I think they've created a problem more so. I mean, they made it worse. Does the UFC do the day before weigh-ins too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do day before weigh-ins.
But they were thinking about moving them back to the day of, like in the morning, right? Weren't they talking about that?
I think they were talking about it. I don't know if I don't think anything really came of it, though.
I mean, I used to see the crazy things these guys would do to make weight, man.
Oh, it's nuts.
It's just ridiculous.
It is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
And most of the weight they're losing, it's just water weight. You know, they're losing like water weight, you know, and, the worst is like you see these guys that are 126 pounds, you know, get on that scale and it's like, he's got nothing left and he's still like a pound over. There's nothing left. There's no water to squeeze out, you know?
Yeah, it's just...
I don't get it, man.
And then too, when you're trying to, strip yourself down to a weight that you're not really naturally comfortable walking around at. Now, can all of us lose 5 or 10 pounds and probably be okay?
Yeah.
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 But I feel it when I get, this is crazy, but like, I can get down to like 183 when I want to really go crazy and do a lot of cardio and really cut my calories and stuff. Mm-hmm. I can sustain that weight maybe for a couple weeks, a month tops, and then I start feeling like shit.
Right.
My body just doesn't feel. I feel horrible. So, like, I could see maybe losing 5 or 10 pounds, but when you're losing 20 pounds, 25 pounds. Not all of that is water.
Let me ask you a question.
A great deal of that is muscle.
All right, you brought up a good point. So let me ask you a question. Now, I know you were like cutting and everything like that just recently. I mean, by recently, I mean like a month or so, a couple months ago and stuff.
Yeah.
And how how far did you where did you go? Weight wise, where were you?
The lowest I got down to was like,
And this was recently. This is just like, yeah.
this was like in the summer. I got down to like
Yeah.
I got down to 183. But
183.
for the most part, I was hovering around 186, 187 ish.
183. Could you have gone down to 168?
Never.
Could you go down to
Could I have gone down to it? Probably the lowest I could have gone down to was probably 178. But I would have been stripped.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Because if I want to, I could go out and do like insane amounts of cardio.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I could do so much cardio to the point where half my day's gone, and then by the time I go home, I eat a meal, and then I just go to sleep. I don't have enough time. I'm so tired. I don't have enough time to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I almost to get to that point, I put myself to the point of exhaustion.
Right.
So I just put myself to sleep so I don't have to fucking be miserable all day. You know what I mean? if I want to.
But you're saying though, like you were at 183, so it would have been tough for you to come down to 175, let alone 168.
It would have been very hard.
Could you have done it? Maybe.
Yeah.
But how would you have felt after that?
I would have felt like
you know what I'm
shit.
saying? But that's what they go through, and so it's like, and then they got to fight the next day. So they got to somehow like re-nourish themselves. Then they got to do it properly. They can't just eat a big bowl of spaghetti or eat a big bowl of, burgers and stuff like that. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do, man.
Your body can only absorb so much food and actually utilize the food you're giving it.
Right.
It takes time. It takes time.
It's crazy.
So.
All right, let's go to the phones here. We're going to Baltimore, 443.
Yeah, man. Hey, Beeb, if you're not a doctor, but you damn sure play one on this show, man.
That's right. Dr. Beeb.
Yeah, man. You could have fooled me, but man, yeah. They cry about. I like what y'all said. They cry about when these guys the corner should have stopped it. Maybe the doctor should have stopped it. Maybe the ref should have stopped it. Or maybe the guy, he was just too damn tough for his own good. He was too much of a warrior. Somebody should have saved him from himself. But as soon as somebody call it quits, they get criticized. So you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You too much of a warrior. He was too damn tough for his own good. I heard him say shit like that. He's too damn tough for his own good. You can't be no quitter at the 10 or in no championship fight after taking all those blows for 10 or 11 rounds, and then all of a sudden, you losing. You can't come back. You can't come back on the cards. You can't come back. You can't outmaneuver this guy, and things don't go right. The fight get called off. That should be it. Nobody should be calling nobody no quitters. Nobody shouldn't even have a platform, or nobody shouldn't even be listening, especially somebody with a big platform. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's rhetoric. That's dangerous talk. You shouldn't be talking like that. Shouldn't be spreading that type of shit with all these deaths that's been going on in boxing these days. It's too much talk like that, man. It shouldn't be. That talk shouldn't be going on. And I like the old saying back in the old days. If you're not prepared to walk a mile in the motherfucker's shoes, you shouldn't even be judging the motherfucker anyway. If you can't do what this man do, shut the fuck up. You can't judge this man. You can't get in the ring. You can't do this type of work. Then you can't walk a mile in this man's shoes. Shut the fuck up, man. You can't do it. Don't talk negative about it. But I've been hearing things about Canelo. Canelo is scared now. Canelo don't want to challenge Beterbiev. Beterbiev looks slow. He looked robotic. And with Canelo, with his upper body movement, his head movement, his footwork, his counter punching, and his speed, I see Canelo picking him apart. I see him not even connecting on Canelo. I see Canelo having him all off balance and picking him apart the same way he gonna do Kovalev, man. I see Canelo running right through him, man. He won't be able to get no punches. Canelo got a very quick countering jab. Canelo can fight going backwards. He can fight going forward. Canelo's a monster, man. Canelo's scary, man. He can fight on the ropes, off the ropes coming. He can fight. He can use. He got angles, lateral movement, feints. Canelo does it all, man. Canelo got scary skills, and I see him I can see him beating this guy off of countering or coming forward and fighting him. I can see him beating Beterbiev either way. He's a better boxer, and skills pay the bills in championship fights. Floyd Mayweather can attest to that. That's all I gotta say about that. I see Canelo outscaling his more skills, and he beats this guy and beats him up to the body, beats him up with a jab, slip his punches, counter him, and go to work on him. I see Canelo going to work on him. Canelo ain't scared of nobody else at 175, man. That's crazy talk. I did a video breaking that shit down, man. That's all I got to say. But that was a good match. But the guy's tough, but they better keep him away from Canelo. That's all I got to say about that, man. That's my call, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Wood.
Thanks, Wood.
He brings up a good point. I mean, I don't think it's a walkover for Beterbiev if they fought. The fight's not, number one, the fight's not going to happen, I don't believe.
They'll never make that fight.
No, I don't think that fight's going to happen. But in a fantasy world, that the fight does happen, I think it's a tough fight. I think, who wins? I don't know. I mean, Canelo, Beterbiev is strong. Beterbiev is just strong, man. And that's the one caveat to this. And when we always talk about, and I always go back to the Deontay Wilder thing, hey, such and such is a better boxer, this, and this. But Wilder can get you out of there with one shot.
Yeah, Wilder's tough.
And I think he could probably get you out of there with either hand. I think he can hit hard with both hands. And that right hand is a signature, but I'm sure that left is no cupcake either. He catches you with a left hook, man. Say goodnight. 804. I think this is Corey. You're live.
What's up?
What's happening?
What's going on, fellas? What's up?
Corey.
What's happening, brother?
What's happening, man? I'm sorry I didn't get to call in last week, my boy, or 2 weeks ago. Whenever Usyk fought, man, my boy showed up, man. It showed out, man. A lot of people gave Usyk a lot of heat because he fought Weatherspoon. But what you expect? The guy he fought tested positive. You got to move on to the next opponent.
Yeah,
I believe that was
fault.
Usyk's third opponent. That was Usyk's third opponent. So it's just unfortunate. But now Usyk's in the heavyweight scene. I truly believe that Usyk will become undisputed champion at heavyweight. I said this 2 years ago. I seen it, man. I just seen it. I believe that much in Usyk, man. Yes, Wilder has power, but what happens when you don't hit him? You know what I'm saying? What happens when you don't, knock out, your opponent? It's hard to tell him that he can't because so far he's knocked down every opponent he's got into the ring with. But there's gonna be a time where he gets outboxed. I truly believe that. And I think Usyk has the antidote for that, or should I say the kryptonite. But as far as Usyk with the other heavyweights, I definitely favor him against Andy Ruiz. He takes Andy Ruiz's power away, and pretty much stalls him out with the jab. Usyk's 1-2 is far more superior than Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua's. I think stylistically it's a bad matchup for both fighters. I truly believe that's Eddie Hearn's backup though. If Anthony Joshua loses a second time to Andy Ruiz, I really truly believe that that's why he signed Usyk. That's the reason why. He's seen something in Usyk, or either his matchmaker said, you know what, it's not looking good for Anthony Joshua. He got pretty much, blasted through. by Annual Weeds. It's going to be hard for him to win that rematch. Let's go ahead and sign Usyk. And you've seen that they signed Usyk after that fight. Did y'all notice that? So, these are key details that you guys need to know about this, because I truly believe that at the end of the day, Usyk, I think Usyk is a chosen one. I think he'll beat all the heavyweights in his era. And a lot of people want to debate me on that, man, but let's be honest, man. Usyk's already proven himself a lot more than a lot of these heavyweights at cruiserweight. And some would say, well, that's not heavyweight. Okay, well, he fought at heavyweight in the Olympics, and won a gold medal. Some will say, well, that wasn't super heavy. There's always going to be a caveat to somebody saying something, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Usyk puts up and he shuts, a lot of people up. I made my YouTube channel, the first video I made was about Usyk, because I'm like, nobody's giving this dude credit. Nobody's even looking at this dude. I'm like, shit, I'll say something. I'll get a couple views for it. Fuck it. And then I just started a whirlwind. But, Usyk, I truly believe Usyk is a chosen one. Moving on to Beterbiev, though, you guys. I made a video I sent Beeb, while he was on the show. I made this video about a year ago. I said the most avoided or the most ducked fighter in boxing, and I put that a year ago, like almost a year and 2-3 months ago. I said it was Beterbiev. Beterbiev was ducked. If you guys didn't see my comments in the comment section, Beterbiev had got ducked because he was an IBF mandatory for Andre Ward, but when Andre Ward retired, so all those belts went, each and every way. But Beterbiev had stayed in good standing with the IBF, so he took that route. They went through 1 through 9, because if you guys, Ramsey, the coach of Artur Beterbiev, said this in an interview, so these are facts actually. And he said that 1 through 9 ducked Beterbiev. That was Badu Jack was in the rankings, Marcus Brown was in the rankings, and a couple other guys were in the rankings. And all of those guys ducked Beterbiev to get that IBF shot. And I just truly believe that their handlers or either them themselves did not want that smoke. I truly believe that Beterbiev is that good. I've been telling you guys that I think Beterbiev is the best light heavyweight. Now you guys are finally rocking with him. I've been trying to tell Beeb that for a while now, man. And he was like, no, I think
He never
Gvozdyk
listens.
is good.
He never listens.
I liked Gvozdyk,
I
man.
mean, it's
did.
crazy, Beeb. I mean, what the hell do I got to do to you, dude? I mean,
How about I had
man.
Marcus Brown as the best light heavyweight before he lost? How about that? I thought he was the man, man.
I knew Marcus Brown. I knew Marcus Brown was a little dicey, man. He had a lot of out of the ring issues, and then he had a lot of
yeah, he sure did.
I believe he has a glass jaw, and but as far as Beterbiev, you guys, I think he looked very good against Gvozdyk. I actually do this like a security. I'm actually like this do security at this job now. Slash bouncer over there. It's at this spot. But the spot was actually showing the fight. So when I got off, I could watch round 6 on up. And when I watched from round 6 on up, I was hollering in like the 9th round. I was like, oh shit. Cause I seen the downfall. Like I seen those shots they were just sudden and very powerful shots that Gvozdyk, it's no way his body makeup was going to be able to take those. Has anybody taken a close eye, to Beterbiev's physique? I mean, no homo or no gay shit, but I mean, this guy is built like a brick house. I'm telling you, there's not an ounce of fat on this dude's body. The dude's coming in like the Terminator in real life, and he's not taking no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? Until he gets you down, he's not going to stop. I'm telling you, man. I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it in the Olympics. He actually knocked Usyk down with a body shot in the I think it was the Pro-Am Championships or something like that. It was before the Olympics. Because I studied a lot of Usyk's amateur background and Beterbiev's background.
I can honestly
And I just
say
think both
that
those
I did
guys
not
were
take close
standouts.
notice of Beterbiev's body. I can honestly say that. Beeb, how about you? Have you taken a close gander at Beterbiev's body? What do you think of him?
No comment. No comment.
I wasn't
gotta-
really peeping him out like that, but
Let's
hey.
just say he's not listening. Let's just say he's hitting his sit-ups, man. You know, he's hitting his sit-ups and his crunches, and he's just built. You know, he's just built like.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
A lot of leg
you know,
raisers.
kinda like
A lot of twists.
Nah, man, better
lot of
be,
twists.
Man, I don't know, better be, I'm telling you, man. But the only thing that's kind of worrying me about Beterbiev is that he's definitely getting older, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe he's like 34.
34.
Now.
He's
He finally
34,
got
yeah.
this, you know,
I think he's 35.
Is he?
yeah, a lot of
34, 35, man.
Yeah.
He's 35, man.
Yeah,
It's a senior citizen in
a
boxing.
lot of people ain't been talking about that. Yeah, but shit, Beterbiev's had camp after camp. He's been boxing since God knows when. He's had all those amateur fights. I mean, at one point, did your body say, you know, F you? You know? And we see that with Golovkin. You know, Golovkin's last fight, his body just said F you. You know? Kovalev the same way. You know? So, you know, I would love to see how long Beterbiev can, you know, defend these belts. I know Bob Arum is a very happy guy right now because he has the best light heavyweight in the world right now.
He was excited
I
last
think
night.
he washes. I think he washes Stevenson. I mean, not Stevenson. I think he washes Kovalev. I truly believe that. I think he beats, you know, Canelo as well, just from the pure power that he will get them shots off. You know, the amateur pedigree alone, he'll be able to get shots off. And you know, I've seen Canelo hurt before in his career. So, you know, you got hurt at 154, dude. You're dealing with a grown man at 175, man. And that's my call, man. You guys have a great night, man. And man, I must be right about something, man. Both fighters, man, they're at the top of their game and they're still undefeated. Beterbiev and Music. You guys have a great night.
All right, man. You too. Corey Lee Boxing. Check him out on
Corey Lee.
YouTube under Corey Lee Boxing.
Nostradamus.
Did you see the one comment that he's always right the day after the fight?
No, but he did.
He loves
always,
European fighters, though. He does love the
he
Europeans.
always did.
Yeah.
He always did like Usyk and Beterbiev. I can't
Yeah.
take that away from him.
Yeah,
did.
he liked
always-
David Hay too. He thought he was man. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. Right? Yeah.
Don't wait on this parade, man. He's on a hot streak right now with Usyk and Beterbiev. Don't wait on this parade. Let him ride this one out. Let him
Ride it out. I'll let him ride it out. All right. The undercard, Louis Collazo versus Kudratillo Abdukakarov. Am I at least in the ballpark with that one? Abdukakarov wins a unanimous decision over Louis Collazo as the fight was stopped after an accidental headbutt. Scores were 97-93, 98-92, 99-91. The Russian guy remains unbeaten at 17-0. He called out Errol Spence after the fight. All right, man. Good luck with that. Good luck with number one. Good luck with securing that fight because that ain't happening. Yeah, Spencer's got bigger fish to fry. Yeah, that fight ain't happening. He didn't do it. I'll be honest, man. He didn't do a lot for me in that fight, to be honest with you. The fact that he was, looked like he was going life and death in there with Collazo, who's been way around the block. I mean, I was shocked that Collazo's still fighting. And not that he's not he's a good fighter, but he's been around forever.
How old is he now? He's got to be pushing 40, no?
Collazo? Yeah, I would think.
He's up there, man.
I would think.
He's up there now.
So, Joe Lopez says, I'm a hater and a paper champ. I go along with that. Yeah,
Wow.
I think so. I go along with that.
That was pretty harsh.
I know. It's kind of hurt my feelings. I don't even know if I can go on now.
He's got to take it.
God.
He's got to take it in stride, man.
Beeb, I try. I try, but you know how it is, man.
Sticks and stones, brother. Sticks and stones.
Oh, man. All right, let's talk about the DAZN fights. Louis Ritson versus Robbie Davies Jr. for the WBA Junior Welterweight Eliminator and for one of the 15 WBA belts. Lewis Ritson beats Robbie Davis by unanimous decision. Scores were 117-112, 116-112, and 116-112 twice, excuse me. Beeb, thoughts on Lewis Ritson?
Well, both of these guys, the way they fight, if they keep fighting that way, they're not going to have very long careers. I mean, they were in the phone booth for the whole fight, and then Ritson kind of created a little bit of space, like in the seventh round on the second half of the fight, and Davies started to slow down a little bit. So Ritson was able to, push him back with the jab from the outside. And he was landing straight shots, and Davies was starting to wear down. And Ritson did some good work by going to the body against Davies too. But this was like nip and tuck, life and death for both guys in the first half of the fight. It was really competitive. It almost looked like a Toro Gotti versus Mickey Ward, for the first half of the fight. Then Ritson kind of separated himself from Davies a little bit, and Davies started to slow down, started to not be able to keep up that pace, not be able to stay in that phone booth. And he kind of wore down in the end. And I actually had this fight 116 to 112 as well. I thought Davies won some of the early rounds, but like I said, Ritson pulled away in the second half.
Yeah, like you said, exciting fight. But let's see here, who's he mandatory for here? I'm trying to look it up here for the WBA. Come on, man. There's three of them. There's three.
3 of them.
Regis Prograis, who he's not going to fight, and if he does, he'll lose. Mario Barrios, another good fighter, and Yves Ulysses Jr.
Yeah.
There's a G by his. How does the WBA have 3 champs?
I don't know.
Stop it.
But like I said, there was no defense in this fight, really.
Yeah, he's gonna get he's gonna have a tough time moving.
If you were gonna teach someone how to box, with all due respect, this wasn't the fight to show them, because these guys were getting hit with everything but the kitchen sink.
So don't do this.
Move your head. That doesn't resonate with these guys.
Yeah.
Duck, slip. No.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Let's talk about the undercard here. Ted Cheeseman versus Scott Fitzgerald. Cheeseman's your boy. For the British Junior Middleweight Championship, Scott Fitzgerald beats Ted Cheeseman very close here, 116-113 twice and 115-113 unanimous decision. You thought Cheeseman won this fight, yeah?
I had Cheeseman edging it out 115 and 113, but let's be honest here. This fight was razor close. This could have gone either way. This could have been a draw. The announcers were horrible here. They were like so in shock that Fitzgerald got the decision.
Which is odd for BBC, I think, or for the Sky networks or whatever.
Well, they were so.
DAZN.
They were so amazed, and they were so enamored with how Cheeseman was fighting, like he was actually boxing instead of coming forward and slugging it out. That made them like so incredulous to what was going on. They were like so shocked and so happy about it. They're like, oh, look at Cheeseman. Look at the movement. Like, look at the defense. That's great. But he was moving. He was defending. But he wasn't really doing much offense in those moments. He was only landing a jab here or there. So those are the type of rounds where you could say, well, one guy's backing up and he's doing good defensively, but the other guy's forcing the fight and he's actually making the fight. So it depends on what you like. I tend to go with the boxer, but a guy like you probably would have had Fitzgerald winning this fight wide.
Yeah.
Because you like the aggressive guys. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of these rounds early on, you could say Cheeseman may have nicked them, and that's what they even said. Oh, Cheeseman's nicking these rounds. Okay, when someone nicks a round, that leaves the door open that maybe it was close enough that you could have given it to the other guy.
Right.
So to sit there and say, like, Cheeseman ran away with this, I mean, I thought Cheeseman clearly lost rounds 9 through 12. So those were clear rounds I thought he lost. And I had him winning 2 through 8, but I could have easily maybe flipped 2 of those rounds. I gave Fitzgerald the first round, and I gave him rounds 9 through 12. Now, could I see myself flipping two of those other? There were times when I had to actually stop and think whom I'm going to give this round to in some of those early rounds. So whenever you have situations like that, then you can see how it may go the other way.
Yeah.
They were shocked, and then they're saying, "Oh, Fitzgerald knows he lost that fight." How the fuck do you know what this guy knows?
Yeah.
He didn't look like he thought he lost to me. So they were really like riding Cheeseman's jock in this fight, man. Oh, look how well he's moving. Oh, look at the defense. It's like, okay, but he's not really throwing a lot of punches. He's leaving these rounds on the table.
Well, just like the Beterbiev fight. I mean, that fight really could have gone either way too. I mean, sans a knockout. I mean, honestly, I mean that fight was a tough fight to score. You know, it depends on what you like. You know, and this fight sounds a lot of the same way. So,
and Eddie Hearn, who's Cheeseman's promoter, told Cheeseman to his face, "I had it a draw." Cheeseman stormed out of the ring. I mean, when your own promoter tells you he thinks it's a draw, then
yeah,
you know what are you
gonna good, man.
That's not good.
Yeah, going to Frank Warren now. No. Oscar, there was on Golden Boy's Facebook Watch or whatever. Oscar Duarte versus Richard Solano, 10 rounds lightweights. Duarte scores the third round TKO over Solano. And Francisco Vargas versus Ezekiel Aviles, 10 rounds lightweights. Vargas wins via a 9th round split technical decision. How about that one?
Wow.
By the scores of 88-84 twice and 87-86. It was Vargas' first fight at lightweight. The fight was stopped with an unintentional headbutt. So that's what led to the split technical decision. So 87-86, I imagine, was for Aviles, and then 88-84 for Vargas. So there you go. Insane, man. Insane. Does anybody watch those Facebook Watch fights? I mean, aside from maybe Nacho? I mean,
sometimes when I'm watching them, I only see like 20, 30 people in there. There's not a lot of people.
Yeah, it's terrible. Those cards that Golden Boy puts on, man, are awful.
I mean, no disrespect, but if you have to put the fights on Facebook, then
you know,
I understand. Like, if you can't even put them on DAZN.
Seriously, are you focusing like all of your time on Canelo? I mean, do any of your other fighters like factor into your, you know?
If
Canelo
ever leaves him or loses, what else do they have?
Nothing. He's going under, son.
Arum has a lot of look at Arum. Arum's like
Crawford, you know,
Lomachenko.
Yeah,
he's got Beterbiev now. He's got
Gvozdyk.
Gvozdyk.
Yeah,
He's got Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
best heavyweight in the world.
It's insane. All right, let's talk about our up and coming fights here. And I'll tell you what, man, this week is stacked. October 24th in New York on UFC Fight Pass, Mikewan Williams versus Trayshawn Wiggins, 10 rounds junior welterweights, and Joseph Williams versus Monaro Hills, 8 rounds super middleweights. And this is on UFC Fight Pass. So I wonder if that's a CES card.
Even UFC Fight Pass is putting on better fight cards than the Golden Boy.
Yeah, I got to be honest, they are. October 24th from Indio, California on ringtv.com, Elwin Soto versus Edward Heno, 12 rounds for Soto's WBO junior flyweight title, and Angel Acosta versus Raymond Tabugan, 10 rounds flyweights. So another De La Hoya card.
Yeah.
Another De La Hoya card that's, is what it is.
Not the greatest.
Speaking of not great cards, October 25th in Milan, Italy on DAZN. Let's see here. Daniel Scardina versus Ilias Aragui, 10 round super middleweights. So, if you got nothing to do, turn that on. Mexico City on October 25th on Telemundo. Mauricio Pintor versus John Carl Sosa, 10 rounds welterweights. October 25th, another UFC Fight Pass card from Reno, Nevada. Kendo Castaneda versus Stan Martiniok. 8 rounds junior welterweights. Blake McKernan versus Sean Miller, 8 rounds cruiserweights. So there you go. Beeb. I'm so excited. And I know you're excited too. Now, this fight won't be televised, which I don't understand it. I don't condone it. and I think it's part of the hypocrisy of boxing. From Chonburi, Thailand, on October 25th.
TBE.
The best ever.
TBE.
The best to ever lace him up, Beeb. The best to ever lace. What is he, 52-0 now?
When is this guy going to get some exposure? What's going on?
I don't know.
Got all these platforms out there, and we can't even get this guy a televised fight.
I don't get it.
Can't even get him a Facebook watch fight.
Nothing. Where's Pacquiao at? Have Pacquiao go in there and promote this kid.
What's going on here?
The best ever. The best to ever lace him up. Was he 52, 53-0? Just obliterated Mayweather's record.
Killed it.
I mean, you look at the names on this guy's resume.
I'm telling you.
Come on, son. They're the number one. Wanheng Menayothin, or as he's known around here, TBE.
TBE, Daddy.
The best ever, baby.
That's
best
it.
ever lace him up. Nobody even comes close to this dude. Versus Simpiwi Konko, 12 rounds for Menayothin's WBC strawweight title. Don't let the name fool you. I'm sure that challenger is very tough. Very tough to deal with.
The strawweight division's on fire right now.
Tough customer, son. TBE, baby. It's the way it goes down here. All right. October 26th from Reno, Nevada on ESPN+. This is one I'm looking forward to, man. Shakur Stevenson versus Joet Gonzalez. 12 rounds for the vacant WBO featherweight title. There's some bad blood here, man. These two don't like each other. In case you don't know the backstory, Shakur Stevenson is dating Joet Gonzalez's sister. And, Joet Gonzalez says, he doesn't love my sister. He's not good for her. And Stevenson said, yeah, I do, blah, blah, blah. It's heated, man. They do not like each other. Man. So, this is a family affair right here, man. They're fighting. I tell you what, his sister's involved. It's crazy, right, Beeb?
This is scary, buddy.
That's nuts, man.
I'm not liking this.
Oh, I'm liking it, man, because I like train wrecks. You know me.
I don't like the family feuds here.
Yeah. Can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner at that place? Jesus.
I'm telling you, man. I don't think.
Seriously, sit down after this fight, because coming up about a month later is Thanksgiving.
I don't think he's invited.
How can he not be invited? His sister's man.
She may not be able to take him.
You think, let me ask you this, if Joet Gonzalez beats Shakur Stevenson, you think she breaks up with him?
Yeah, you know how women are sometimes. They kick you.
You know how it is. Even cupcakes, man. You know how it is.
They kick you when you're down, man.
That's right. That's how they do.
They don't want you once you lose.
That's how they do. That's how they Beeb, we know from personal experience, man. That's how they do.
Once you lose your job, once something happens to you, get injured, you can't do something for them, they don't want you anymore.
Yeah. Boxing Spectrum just said that. Imagine if he beats Gonzalez and dumps his sister. Wow. That's harsh, man.
That ain't going to happen. Come on.
That's harsh, man.
He's got a heart. You're selling the guy short. Come on. Cut it.
We're selling the guy short. On the undercard there, Josh Greer versus Antonio Nieves, 10 rounds bantamweights. Michaela Mayer versus Alejandra Soledad Zamora, 10 rounds for the female junior lightweights. Albert Bell versus Frank D'Alba, 10 rounds junior lightweights. So not a bad card. Tyler McCreary on the card versus Matt Conway. Tyler McCreary from Ohio, baby. So there you go. So not a bad card, but could be better, but not bad. Not a golden boy. Not a golden boy special, son. October 26th. Beeb. That's what we've been waiting for. In London. On the zone.
This is the big one.
Ooh. This is what we waited for, man. This is what we waited. We knew this fight was coming. This is what we waited for.
This is why I pay my $10 a month, baby.
That's right. Yeah, for sure, man. Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor for the WBA IBF Junior Welterweight Unification, the World Boxing Series.
Yes.
World Boxing Super Series final. What's better, man? It's better than that.
That's a great fight, man. great second. I'm telling you, the zone's really coming on strong in the second half.
They are. It's not a bad undercard. Not a bad undercard either. Derek Chisora versus David Price. David Price, of course, the late substitution for, who was it?
Joseph Parker.
Joseph Parker, that's right.
That sucks that Joseph Parker couldn't.
That's a good fight. I think he puts Chisora to sleep, man. 12 rounds heavyweights. Ricky Burns versus Lee Selby, the British Mayweather, as they call him. 12 rounds lightweights. Lawrence Okoli, your boy in there. 12 rounds versus Eve Nagabu.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good fight. Conor Benn versus Laszlo Toth. 10 rounds welterweights.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad card.
Great card, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a real good card.
Eddie Hearn, like when they put on, I guess I don't even know that's really, Eddie Hearn's involved, right?
That's Eddie Hearn's card.
Is it?
Yeah.
With the World Boxing Super Series, huh?
He's part
That's
of
right,
it.
because he's got Josh Taylor, doesn't he?
I think so.
Does he have Josh Taylor? I don't know.
I think he does.
I don't know.
Eddie Hearn's
But I mean, Eddie Hearn's got guys on there. Obviously, he's got Chisora on there. He's helping promote it and everything like that.
Eddie Hearn had a press conference with both fighters. So I'm thinking, I think Josh Taylor is,
because he was there with Sauerland and everybody else. So they're definitely promoting that.
I think.
So let's come back to that fight. Let's come back to that fight and break it down. October 26th. This is insane, man. It's packed next week. Packed. From Reading, Pennsylvania on Showtime, Erickson Lubin versus Nathaniel Gallimore, 10 rounds junior middleweights. Your boy, Robert Easter Jr. from Ohio, baby.
Yes, sir.
Against Adrian Granados, 10 rounds junior welterweights. That's a fight.
That's a firecracker.
That is a fight, son. That should be main event. I don't know why they're wasting their time with Lubin in the main event. Should be Easter in the main event.
Wow.
Because he's from Ohio. That's number one. I mean, that's what people come out for.
That's a better fight.
It absolutely is a better fight.
It's a much better fight.
On the undercard, F.A. Ajagba versus Jack Malawi, 10 rounds heavyweights. Ajagba, they're grooming him, man. They're really grooming that guy. But we'll see. We'll see. See how he turns out. So there you go. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't think there is, but hey, man, I'm always wrong. That's it. That's it. And then, of course, the week after that, we've got the Canelo Alvarez fight and Sergey Kovalev. But let's double back here and talk about this Regis Prograis Josh Taylor fight. That Inoue fight is already sold out. The other final, Inoue Donaire in Japan.
Yeah,
it's already sold out. It's already sold out. And listen, man, I know this time there was a lot of back and forth with the World Boxing Super Series. With people, I know Progress tried to pull out. There was a couple other people that tried to pull out. I'm just glad it's stuck together, and I really hope that they can get another one of these and get their act together and get this going, man.
Yeah.
These are the best fights out there right now.
Yeah.
That nobody really puts together. They just kind of happen through the course of the tournament.
But the problem is it only works with certain weight classes because some of the bigger name like Canelo would never be in a tournament like
no. And then you look at they're doing a heavyweight. I think they're doing a heavyweight or something like that, a heavyweight tournament. But you're not going to have the best 4 heavyweights in there, so
you have to find the right division to do it in where the guys will be willing to do it. Like Wilder's never going to do it. The best division to probably be to do this in would be like 168 or 175 right now.
Yeah.
I would say 147, but those guys already fought each other, most of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And so let's talk about this Prograis fight. This is a good fight, man. This is, a
great fight.
And you asked me, if you would have asked me at the beginning of this tournament, I think we all predicted these two would be in it. These two would be in the finals.
Yes.
But if you would have asked me, would Josh Taylor, I think Josh Taylor walks this tournament. Now I'm not 100% sure, man.
No.
Now I'm not 100% sure, man. I mean, Prograis is a really solid fighter, and he's really done just an awesome job.
Yeah, I like Prograis.
I mean, he's really done an awesome job in this tournament, man, and he's looked better and better each fight.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor's always looked good. I don't know, man. This is a solid fight, man.
I like Prograis in this fight. I think he's the better boxer all around. I think he's more versatile. I think he hits hard enough to get Josh Taylor's attention. I just think he's quicker on his feet. I think he's going to be a more elusive target there. I think that Taylor's going to have a hard time pinning him down in this fight. And like I said, Prograis, he's a mover, he's a boxer, but he can still crack a little bit too, and he can go to the body very well, and he can get your attention. So it's not like Josh Taylor's going to be able to walk through everything Prograis throws, in my opinion. I think that he'll be able to get Josh Taylor's attention, and I think Josh Taylor will be coming forward a lot in this fight, and I think he'll have a hard time cutting off the ring against Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis moves so well. He's so quick on his feet. He's so awkward. He reminds me of Pernell Whitaker so much, man, the way he moves with the upper body movement and the bending at the waist. And he can stand right in front of you and make you miss. He can step around you. He's like a matador in there. I like him in this fight.
I don't think he knocks out Josh Taylor.
I think it's a distance fight. And I think he wins the decision.
And I think it's going to be tough to win a decision in London. So I do lean toward, and Josh Taylor, all that being said, can box really, really well. You know what I mean? He can box really well. There's no doubt about that. And I think he might be the better boxer. Now, I think that Prograis has a lot more X factors in the sense, like you said, the power, his movement, his awkwardness,
Defense.
his defense.
Yeah.
It's a solid fight. I lean toward Josh Taylor to get a decision in London, and I think there's probably going to be a rematch after this.
Well, he's he's Scottish, so it's not like, and he's not
it's
really
still on his side of the pond. That would be like fight taking place in Canada or something like that.
And we have to see who the judges are too. I mean, if they're the judges could be neutral.
Yeah. Or they have. You know what I don't like is I like when the judges are neutral. I don't like one judge from here, one judge from, one judge from the UK, one judge from the US, and then another judge from China or whatever.
So.
Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News says Juan Heng Menayothin, TBE, his opponent's last loss was to Hecky Butler in 2015. He's made 5 IBO wins and beat 2 former world champions in that time, guys. That's why he's TBE, son.
That's why he's TBE, buddy.
That's why he's TBE, baby.
You're only reinforcing our point.
TBE, son. That's how we're living over here. He's TBE.
He's the best.
Ever. Best ever lace him up. No
Best
questions.
ever.
Now, if you want to catch that fight, you'll probably be able to catch it on YouTube. Go to Twitter. Twitter might have a stream of it. Because again, I don't have any record of televising in the US or anything, or even the UK. It doesn't say anything about Sky. Maybe Sky might have it. I don't know. It's tough when those fights take place in Thailand with the times and everything like that. And, unless you have, I don't know, man. They're always tough to watch. So I always have to catch them on stream. Sometimes on YouTube, they'll have a live stream. Sometimes on Twitter, they'll have a live stream. So if you want to catch it, but if you don't catch those, you'll be able to catch it the day after or whatever. You'll be able to see it the day after. And not for another, man. Menayothin is a pretty good fighter. It's pretty good. It's not like you're going to be disappointed. It's going to be a good fight. So there you go. All right, let's go to our brings us to our news and rumors here, man. All right, so let's talk about this. We talked about we touched on a little bit earlier in the show. Patrick Day passed away this week due to brain injury suffered during his fight with Charles Conwell. And I don't know, a lot of speculation. Nobody really knows what happened. We know that, like, when he went down, he took a lot of punishment during that fight. He was down in the 4th and 8th round or something like that. He was taking a lot of punishment. And when he went down, he was out on his feet when he went down. Yeah. And apparently his head bounced off the canvas or whatever. So it was tough to watch and everything like that. And it was, whatever happened. And it was during the fight. But 2 days before Day passed away, Charles Conwell, who he fought, took to social media and posted the following: the saddest thing ever, man. Charles Conwell posted this 2 days before he actually passed. He said, "I never meant for this to happen to you. All I ever wanted to do was win. If I could take it all back, I would. No one deserves for this to happen to them. I replay the fight over and over in my head thinking, what if this never happened? And why did it happen to you? I can't stop thinking about it myself. I prayed for you so many times and shedded so many tears because I could never imagine how my family and friends would feel. I see you everywhere I go, and all I hear is wonderful things about you. That's tough, man.
It's horrible, man.
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough burden, and that's the other thing. You know, what about Charles Conwell
That's so sad, man.
and how he feels about it? Because he never, I mean, you know, and when you get in there, you don't think about this happening. You know, nobody ever wants to have this happen to them, but then you do this to somebody else, or it happens in your fight. That's got to be tough to live with. I mean, Ray Mancini, I always said that Ray Mancini was never the same after the Dooku Kim fight. He was never the same fighter. You know, he looked different after that fight.
He did.
Patrick Day's trainer, Joe Higgins, who was Patrick Day's trainer since he was 14, since Day was 14. Higgins recently put a sign on his boxing gym that reads, Freeport Pal Boxing Gym is permanently closed. Higgins says that he feels responsible for the death of Patrick Day. That's tough, too. I piled on Higgins. I did. Really did. Said it was his fault. Said it was, I guess I did say it was his fault. That it happened. I think I'm probably wrong about that, obviously. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah.
It was a stupid thing to say. But it's tough, man. It really is. It's a tough situation. You know, it's tough. You know, it affects everybody in that that was in the whole fight. You know what I mean? It affects the referee. What if the referee, I could have got in there sooner? What if I probably should have stopped it in the 8th round when he went down? You know, and what about Higgins, who let him go? And man, the second guessing, man, I probably should have stopped it. You know, Conwell, who just did his job, who just went out there and just did his job. He can't, he had nothing really, no real culpability in the sense that, like, he couldn't stop the fight. He couldn't take it either. He did what he was paid to do. He did his job, and that's what he's known to do. That's what they were both known to do,
Yeah, this is something that's going to stay in everyone's mind who was involved in the event. It's the referee, the cornerman, his opponent. No one's going to be able to forget this. It's going to stick in their mind forever.
Yeah.
And I just hope they find a way to make peace with themselves about it, because guilt is a horrible thing, man. It can eat away at you.
Yeah.
Just like hate can eat away at you, so can guilt. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah. Jason saying that, and I read something about this, that Charlo has offered to pay for the funeral of Patrick Day. And I don't know that, again, I don't know if he's covering the cost, but I know he's offered to pay for them. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either way if he did pay for it. I think that's a great gesture. I mean, I think that's a really good gesture on his part. But I don't know, like, where was Patrick Day from? Was he from, was it Louisiana, right? Was it Freeport, Louisiana?
I'm not
100% sure. I don't know. I'm not going to guess.
100% sure.
It said Freeport Pal Gym. So, but that was a sad story, man. It's and you know what's funny? I was we were at a family get together this weekend with my wife's family, and her sister, her brother-in-law, and her sister are doctors, and they came up to me. They were like, "What is going on with boxing? What are all these people dying? And they heard about the Patrick Day situation. Obviously, they heard about the one before that and the one before that. And we talked about it. And I says, I think that a lot of this goes on the corners. I think a lot of it goes on the referees. The commissions. There's a lot of you got the weigh-in issues. There's a lot to fix up.
It's hard to just put it on one thing.
It really is, and you gotta I think a big part of it, like we were talking about earlier, and he talked about Kellerman saying, he quit on a stool or whatever. That mindset has to go.
Yeah, we have to change.
We have to change that mindset.
We have to just change that and take that out. This whole thing about being macho doesn't. It's we got to stop. We got to stop with it. We just It's just when a guy is hurt to the point where he cannot defend himself anymore, we have to just step in and not allow him to take any more punishment. There's no other way to look at it. It just has to be that way. We have to step in, have to be more proactive. Sooner is better than later. Really is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but there's got to be a change coming here soon. You know, just has to. Our other big story here, Errol Spence, who rolled his car about 7,000 times. When I saw that video, it was about 6 or 7 times it looked like it rolled.
Yeah.
He's going a very high rate of speed across the medium. Flipped over. He was ejected. Landed himself in ICU. This guy came out of ICU the next day. Was released from the hospital the next day with road rash, which obviously you skid across the concrete, that's what you get, and a few chipped teeth.
Oh.
It's got to be miserable, but I imagine he had them fixed pretty quickly. That's it. No broken bones, no fingernails broken, nothing. I mean, nothing. He was ejected from his car. He was ejected. And you seen that car, that Ferrari he was driving? It looked like it was about waist high. Yeah, I mean, those cars are small. Ejected out of that car. And he's got a scratch. A couple of broken teeth, no broken bones. Might not even be sore. So last week we reported that, and looks like he came out okay. The bad news is that he's being charged with a DWI, and that's driving while intoxicated. So, and I'm gonna defer to you here in a minute here because I know you did a video on this earlier, and this may be something that people close to him may want to sit him down and talk about. And when I close to him, I don't mean like his manager, his handler. I mean his family.
Yeah.
We've seen numerous videos of him drunk on camera. I mean, we've all seen those, where he's at the fights and he's having a good time. And hey, whatever. I mean, if he wants to let off some steam like that, it's all fine. I mean, that's what people do, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think anytime alcohol or substance causes a disruption in your life, you may want to take a look in the mirror. You may have an issue.
Not only a disruption, but it could take away his life if he continues to do crazy things like he did with the car.
It's a life-threatening issue.
Yeah, it's scary.
And so you did a video on this. Talk about that for a little bit.
Well, I mean, I just basically said that, maybe he may have an alcohol problem. Maybe it's something that he had for a while and people just kind of downplayed it and no one really stepped in. And, people who were close to him, no one really talked to him about it. No one really was there. And again, he's a grown man, he makes his own decisions, but, if you're a friend of somebody, if you're a family members, see something wrong with you, see you veering down the wrong path, they should step in and they should talk to you about it. So hopefully, people that are close to him, his family and his friends and his loved ones, they rally around him and they be that support system that he needs right now and try to help him, because this is something that possibly could have been going on for a while, and who knows how many times he did get behind the wheel when he probably shouldn't have, and he just was lucky. So
yeah,
I just wish him the best.
That's the other thing, and you hit the nail on the head there. You hit the nail on the head. You really did. This was the time he got caught. How many times has this actually happened?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't, because I'll tell you what, I guarantee this is not the first time he's driven while intoxicated.
Well, I mean,
100%.
We've seen him so many times at fights with a drink in his hand and slurring his words, looking like he's been a little tipsy and stuff. So, and then he was at a club leaving the club, and I believe someone said that he posted pictures of him at the club, or video. I think there was a video, or there was pictures or something on Instagram that
Yeah.
he was drinking and something.
I saw that. Yeah.
So, Jason, I never had a drunk driving charge on me.
I've never driven drunk either. Yeah.
I've
never been
never-
charged or never driven drunk. So.
I never
No.
drove drunk. I never had a drunk driving charge on me. Never.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what you're
So
talking about.
I don't know.
My brother hasn't. No one in my family that I know of has had a DWI.
I mean, yeah. So
Not-
not
not-
everybody does it. Yeah.
I don't think it's a common thing. I mean,
Yeah, right.
it's not something like it's not like something like getting strep throat or having a cold or something like that, or you get your tonsils taken out. It's not like it's not a normal thing that should be happening in your life. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know how normal it is. I mean, geez, Yeah, it's a normal thing to get out there behind the wheel. Yeah.
okay, so millions of people drive drunk every year.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So
Well, I don't know about millions, but a lot of people drive drunk. Okay.
I don't think it's millions, but a lot of people do it. But is that
Okay, and your point, of course.
your argument always it comes down to whataboutism. So
Right.
if you ever had children and your kids came home and did something wrong, and then they said to you, well, Jimmy does it, so why can't I do it? Does that make it like acceptable? Like your argument is always to justify inappropriate behavior by saying everyone does it, instead of saying that no one should do it. You try to normalize inappropriate behavior by saying everyone does it. That's not a good excuse to do
Right.
something wrong. If everyone went out and killed people, like everyone kills people. How many people die every year from murder? How many murders are committed across the world? So you gonna normalize murder too? How many people get raped? You gonna normalize rape? How much terrorism's going on in the world? You gonna normalize terrorism? It's not. I mean, it's not a good thing. I mean, something that's bad is bad. Driving drunk is not good. I mean, I'm not insulting him that he did it. I'm hoping that he gets help. I don't want to see the guy get hurt. And if you cared about him, if you're trying to support him, then why wouldn't you want him to get help? Why wouldn't you want him to not do it again? I'm not chastising him. I'm not.
No, I mean, if he wants to go drive drunk, go do your thing, man. I mean, whatever. But I just think that, like, again, we talk about, like I said, I mean, if it's my family or something like that, maybe I sit down and have a talk with him. If he's my brother or something like that, maybe I sit down and have a talk with him and say, hey, listen, I understand you're going to do what you're going to do, but, hey. The other thing Spence has got to consider here, and all these guys, especially Spence, because I think we view him as kind of the heir apparent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Canelo, and then he's going to be the next pay-per-view guy, and it's possible he's on that track, But let's think about this for a minute here. Spence is no longer Errol Spence, the fighter. Spence is now a business.
Yeah.
Spence is now a business. Whether he likes it or not, he's a business. And, he's got a lot of people depending on him for a lot of things. He's making people a lot of money, including himself and his family and everything like that. So a lot of responsibility goes along with this. And that's what he has to think about.
Well,
Not to mention kids look up to him and everything like that. This could ruin advertisements. This could ruin, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff there. Even if you take the morality out of it, just focus on the business end of what a stupid decision this was.
I mean, he's got kids. I mean,
yeah, it's a tough thing.
do you realize, if he did have his seatbelt on, what would have happened to him? He could have got crushed.
Yeah,
He could have died in this accident.
And you think about it, like, okay, so say he gets in that accident, say he's injured, where he just can't box anymore. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Go become a lawyer? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. People are talking about, I hear people calling him, oh, he's an alcoholic, he's a drunk, he's stupid, I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying that if he doesn't get help, he can hurt himself or hurt others. That's the main problem here, is the fact that he could hurt himself or hurt others. Everything else is secondary.
Jason just said that Spence made $20 million this year. He's set for life. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's set for life.
Mike Tyson made.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was set for life too. Yeah.
Mike Tyson made $300 million.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather's set for life, but he's still looking for fights and everything like that in Japan. So yeah.
The more you make, the more you spend. I mean, that's how it is a lot of times.
That's how it goes, man. All that money disappears. All right. This is good, too. December 14th, Terrence Crawford and Igis Kavaluskis is official. The fight is scheduled for Madison Square Garden. The undercard is really good here. It's going to be on ESPN, maybe ESPN Plus or something like that.
Yeah.
I think. I hope it's not on pay-per-view. That'll suck if it is. Richard Comey versus Teofimo Lopez on the undercard. Mick Conlon. You know what? It is on ESPN. It's like a triple header because the Heisman's announced that day. It's like a triple header or whatever. So there you go. Mick Conlon versus Vladimir Nikitin. This is the guy that Conlon lost to in the famous flip-off fight, I believe. This is the guy that he lost to controversial in Olympics. So there you go. Boxing Tech, I think, is asking, will Spence lose his belts? No.
No. I don't think so.
No, I mean, it's a personal issue with him. It's not like he assaulted anybody else or, anything like that. I don't even know that he's really. DWI is a misdemeanor B charge in Texas, which isn't obviously DWI is a major thing, but it's not a major thing.
He'll lose
his license. It is and it's not. I mean, it's.
He may lose his license for 3 months.
Maybe. Who cares? He can drive, which is good because then he can have somebody drive him around and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So, lose his license for 3 months.
Yeah. This next one, man, this is real interesting to me because this opens up a whole new can of worms. Maybe not. I don't know. Tyson Fury, Beeb, he is getting $15 million from the WWE.
Yes, sir.
It's reported that Tyson Fury is getting around $15 million from the WWE for his match and his lead up to face Braun Strowman. I think it's going to be October, maybe a couple weeks or whatever in Saudi Arabia.
Very shortly. I think it's the last week in October.
Yeah, $15 million, Beeb.
15
million.
It's only one Tyson Fury.
15 for that. And I mean, he's not doing much. I mean, he's doing a lot of promoting. I seen him on ESPN with Triple H and everything like that. He's doing a lot of promoting for it and everything. And but I tell you what, and I mean, it's not. And he admitted it. He said it's not an easy thing to do. He said that floor. He said when you get slammed on that floor, it's as hard as a boxing ring's floor. So there's not really any give or any spring to it. It's like a boxing ring floor.
That's right.
And he said the ropes. He said every time he hits those ropes, he said it feels like barbed wire or something like that. He said it like pinches them and stuff. And I've heard wrestlers say that. I heard like people that were training said, well, like the WWE ropes, I think they're like made of real rope, where the other organizations use like some kind of like cable, like airline cable or something like that. But these guys use like real rope. And he said almost like the ropes bite you. He said when you hit those, there's like a way you have to hit the ropes. He said the ropes bite you. So yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it's insane. It's a lot of people in the chat saying, it's all BS and everything, right? Because you have the contract and you know more than anyone else. I forgot you were in the room when he signed and missed that part, But in case you're wondering, no, it's not uncommon for the WWE to pay these kind of prices for celebrity guys, So yeah, so. Here's my question, and he said that he brought this to Aram and is it Frank? I believe it's Frank Warren, isn't it? Frank Warren.
Frank Warren, yeah.
Frank Warren. They both said, "What are you doing? Don't do it," because he was like, he said that he didn't think twice about it. It took about 5 seconds and said he just did it. And why not? I mean, he's right. Why not? He says, so he gets cut or whatever. Cares? I mean, he's a good talker. He fits right in with those guys.
He's making more to do this probably than the box, right?
Right. He's definitely making more here than he probably did his last fight. And yeah, and Champ Life hit it on the head. He said it's scripted, but it's real. Try getting slammed on your back. He's right, because the injuries are real. All that stuff. When you get, listen, man, I don't know that there's any real good way to get thrown out of a ring, or get hit with a steel chair. I mean, it is what it is.
Is Ronda Rousey gonna ever come back, or is she done for good now?
I don't know. I'm sure she got paid a lot of money for that run. And she said she wanted to go and have a baby or whatever and enjoy life for a little while. I mean, she did the right thing, because she.
Did The Rock come back?
No, I think he's never come back. I mean, he makes like special appearances though.
But he's not wrestling.
But he's not really wrestling. Yeah.
Okay.
He'll make like special appearances and stuff like that, but not really like wrestling like full time or anything like that.
I got you.
But man, I don't know, man. It's one of those things. I mean, for $15 million, can you blame him? No way, right?
No.
I mean, that's crazy money. Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, of course.
I think I'm going to watch it too. Yeah.
I stopped watching WWE for some reason. I don't know. I'm just not into it like I used to be. I used to love it. I used to love it back in the day. But I'll watch that.
Yeah.
When Floyd did it, I thought he did a great job. I thought his match was really good.
Well, I think the thing is with those guys behind the scenes, who can choreograph. I think like this match will have to be like choreographed from start to finish because he's new. He doesn't really know a whole lot about it. So I think it's gonna have to be choreographed from like start to finish. And those guys know what they're doing. I mean, they'll carry you through it. I think that guy Strowman that he's facing or whatever, he's been in there a while. And so he knows how to wrestle, and I'm sure he knows how to carry a guy and everything like that.
What was baffling to me when the Big Show fought Floyd Mayweather when he stepped on him?
Uh-huh.
How did he do that, without hurting Floyd Mayweather? That looked so real. When he stepped on him like that.
Yeah.
How the hell did he do that?
I don't know, man.
He stepped on him with both feet. How did he do it?
I don't know. I don't know how they do that stuff. I mean, that's kind of the magic of it in the sense that, that they can do this stuff to these guys and not get hurt, and obviously it hurts and everything like that, but not injure the person.
And Floyd was acting so good in that. Floyd did an awesome job.
Yeah.
I thought he sold it really well. When he was hurt and stuff. I thought he did a great job, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Floyd. I mean, Floyd's another one who's suited for this. He's suited for it because he can talk.
Yeah. Would he get $20 million for his appearance? I think.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, Mike Tyson got a big amount. I mean, so this is not uncommon.
When did Floyd do it? What year was it when Floyd did it? Was 2006 or something?
Something like that. It was something like that, but he was a big star too. But I mean, this really, stuff like this, and Floyd did that Dances with the Stars or whatever. Stuff like that really makes him a household name, So
Floyd did some good stuff to make himself big.
A lot of people criticize Floyd, but like him or not, I mean, he's the hardest working guy. He is.
I thought he did. Nobody
good on promotes himself harder than him.
Yeah, I thought he did good on Dancing with the Stars too.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much of that. I think I watched maybe the first episode or something like that, and I can't deal with it.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Me and Lois were going to be on that one year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You and Lois.
Yeah.
So you have to pump her up every time you go out there and dance with her?
Please! Don't insult her like that.
Charges for Clarissa Shields' brother in the assault. Genesee County prosecutor David Layton announced Wednesday that Artis Mack, Shields' 28-year-old brother, was charged with one count of assault to do great bodily harm less than murder for sucker punching James Ali Bashir. So we'll see what comes of that. I don't know, man. That doesn't sound good, man. Doesn't sound good at all. And I think Clarissa Shields has apologized for that and everything like that. Jason saying it's a total setup. Trump should pardon him. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, Trump really cares about that stuff.
Right. Eloy Perez, it was noted on our show last week that Eloy Perez had passed away, and we couldn't confirm it at all. There was nothing saying that he had passed away or anything like that, but it has come to light that it has been confirmed, and he had passed away. Yeah. Now, circumstances surrounding his death are a little bit mysterious here. They had said that they thought he committed suicide.
Yeah.
But his family thinks he was murdered. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, and the bottom line is we'll probably never know.
It's hard to figure out.
The only thing we know is that he's gone and he passed away, and so condolences to his family, and had a good career, man. Had a good career. Good fighter. All right, this last one I want to spend a little bit of time on, Beeb. This is interesting here. So Andy Ruiz took to social media this week to post some pics. He looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight for his rematch. Some people are saying too much. Honestly, he looks good. I saw some video of him hitting the mitts and everything like that. He looks very fast. I'm in the camp that listen, man. I'm in the camp that he needs to be lighter. I think it's not going to hurt him to be lighter, and unless he goes down to 160 in his boxing career, it's not going to hurt him. Yeah. I really don't believe that. This can only make him faster. His stamina will be better. This is not like a guy coming from 175 going down to 160. This is not like that.
Well, the thing is this, too. It's the difference between him and Joshua's situation is Joshua's losing muscle mass.
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz is losing fat. He's losing fat cells.
Right.
Or he's shrinking fat cells, I should say, because you never lose them, you shrink them. So he's losing fat, and I think Anthony Joshua's losing muscle because he's already lean. So this is why I think this will be beneficial to Ruiz, because he carries a lot. He's carrying a lot of body fat, and he'll still have enough left where he'll be able to get energy from it. So I think he'll probably stay at the weight he's at right now, and I think that's good. There's no need for a guy who's 6'2" to be in the 267, 270 range. I mean, if he can get down to 250, 245, that'd be great. How much do you think he lost?
I don't know. It looks like around 25 pounds maybe.
25 pounds coming
somewhere in that area. Champ Life says he just lost weight on his face. That photo is misleading. He only lost about 10 pounds. Champ Life, you're wrong. He's definitely lost more than 10 pounds, because if you look at the picture, he's got a picture of him with his shirt off and he's sparring, like hitting the mitts and everything like that. He's clearly lost weight. He's clearly lost a lot of weight.
20 pounds at least, right? You say?
At least 20 pounds.
So what would you say right now? He's about 250, 245?
That's possible. Yeah, I don't know how much he went up to during his camp. Maybe he went to 270. What was it? What did he weigh for that fight?
Wasn't he 267 for the Joshua fight? Or?
So you say maybe he went up to 275, 280.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
I would say he's about 260, closing in on 250 right about now.
Right. I'm guessing he's about 250.
Yeah. I would say. And I think that's a good, I mean, obviously, I would like to see him in the 220s or whatever, but maybe 230s. But now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's losing this weight, will that affect his power at all? We know it's not going to affect his speed or stamina. Will it affect his power?
Maybe a tad bit, but maybe he'll be more explosive, so his punches may have more snap to them.
Yeah.
So I think he'd have to lose a tremendous. I mean, whenever you lose, even when you're heavy and you have a lot of body fat on you, the fat does make you stronger.
What,
So
does it make you stronger? Does it make you like? Well, I guess it would because you're kind of carrying it around. Yeah,
it makes you stronger because it's more mass. Like
Yeah.
whenever I get heavier, whenever anyone gets heavier, it depends. Like you can only get so big and get so, and you get to a certain point where if you get bigger than, say if you're like, if you put on an obscene amount of weight, then at some point you're going to get diminishing returns on your strength.
yeah,
So the thing about it was, I don't think that he's going to lose enough weight where it's going to affect his power that much. I don't think so, because again, he's carrying a lot of extra baggage that he doesn't really need to carry. So I don't think that that he's gonna. I think it's gonna only help him because he's.
I think yeah.
I think it's gonna only help him.
I think it can only be good for him. I mean, I really do, and he looks great so far. I mean, he really does look super fast, and you can't tell me that he's not going to be faster if he drops that weight, and his cardio is going to go through the roof. I mean, it's a lot of good things.
I have a feeling that he'll weigh about 252, 253 day of the fight, for the weigh-in. That's my opinion.
Do you think Joshua was able to bully him around?
I don't think so.
Do you think he fights a different kind of fight the second time around?
I think Joshua's going to fight a lot more cautious. I think Ruiz may become more aggressive. I think Ruiz isn't going to change much. I think Joshua's going to change a lot. I think Ruiz is going to do what he did in the first fight, maybe to a more higher level of effectiveness.
Yeah.
I think he'll be sharper. I think he'll be more accurate with his punches. I suspect Ruiz's jab will be a lot better, a lot quicker, a lot snappier. And I think I think Ruiz is going to go to the body a lot in this fight. I think Ruiz is going to win the rematch. I was iffy about it before, but the more I see Joshua, I think it's just he says a lot of he just doesn't.
I don't know that he's mentally there, man. I don't think he's in this.
Just doesn't look like he wants it anymore.
I don't think he wants this fight. I don't think he wanted to fight this fight again. And I think a lot of that was Hearn and a lot of people around him. They're going to lose a lot of money and everything like that. And it's tough, man.
I just don't think he's dialed in. I think he's got one foot out the door, to be honest with you.
That's never good. Yeah, because you never want somebody with the foot out the door kind of thing. It just doesn't work, man. There you go. Yeah. All right, guys, man, we appreciate everything, man. Make sure you hit the like button and all that other good stuff. Subscribe to us and all that other thing. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And on Twitter, I'm at ringside73. And we will see you next week.